Yes, indeed, folks. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Welcome back to the show. Of course, you didn't go anywhere, so there's no point in ever saying that. Now, I've got a chance for you to win some fantastic prizes today. Donated kindly by Blizzard, we've got 5 copies, I believe, of the hardback version of Arthas Rise of the Lich King, which is not out yet, but will be quite soon. So, I'm giving you the opportunity to win a copy of that particular book. Now, what you're going to have to do is this. We're calling... Well, yes, I suppose we are calling it that. We're calling the contest Rewrite the Lore. What you have to do is this. This is a bit of a creative one. We're making it a little bit more interesting than your average contest. And it has a very special prize attached to it. Besides the book. Oh, yes. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. What you have to do is this. In order for your chance to win a copy of this particular book, you have to do the following. Take a momentous event in Warcraft history. Anywhere from Warcraft 1 all the way through to World of Warcraft. And you have to rewrite it in a suitably ridiculous fashion. So what do I mean? Well, you could say, write a parody, whereby you replace Arthas with Jabba the Hutt. Alternatively, you could just completely ruin the entire lore once and for all. I want to see the funny stuff. I want to see what you can do with some comedy, some satire, and some parody on the World of Warcraft lore. And the best, or perhaps in some cases the worst, will win a copy of Arthas Rise of the Lich King. But not only that. Oh no, because I'm throwing in a very special prize as well. The 5 winners will not only get that, they will also receive the opportunity to have their pieces of fan fiction, their rewritten lore, turned into adapted radio plays and produced by the WoW Radio staff and aired on WoW Radio. So yes, you get to have your work be created into a real radio play, radio skit, comedy work, whichever you prefer. Oh yes. So we're going to be doing that for you. So yes, if you wish to win, then you have to do this. You email totalbiscuit@wcuradio.com. That is totalbiscuit@wcuradio.com. And the subject title is Rewriting the Lore. And write up your original fiction. Now the contest is going to close in a couple of weeks, so you've got a little bit of time. There will be an official date for closing posted on the front page of WCURadio.com momentarily. By momentarily, I mean as soon as Blizzard confirms it for us. So yes, if you wish to win, then by all means enter the Rewrite the Lore contest only on WCURadio.com. Right, we're done with that, so let's get on with the show. Now, one of the main concerns that I particularly had with this content patch was quite simply thus. Is Old WoW going to be challenging enough to keep people playing? It's a great question. And the answer is quite simply, probably. At least from what I've seen so far. Now let me tell you a little bit about how our guild's been progressing. I must say that we have suffered. We have suffered a lot due to this 5-month dearth of content. Doing knacks and stuff like that, oh god. I mean, we've had raid attendance problems, we've had drama, we've had people getting in each other's faces about things, we've had stupid mistakes. It's just been like the guild has suffered and got rusty as a result of doing this kind of thing. It's like you're an Olympic runner, right? And instead of doing runs for 5 years, all you do is do the occasional jog down to the nearest KFC and then eat a large bucket of chicken. Do that for 5 years, and then go try and run an Olympic race and see how well you do. That's the problem. You can't keep in shape. You can't keep focused by doing content that can be face-rolled. So what happens? We go in and we get our asses handed to us on a silver platter with a note that says, "Thank you, come again. Next time, bring some skills." So yeah, we're getting back on the bandwagon, slowly but surely. But unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time, and I think a lot of guilds are suffering that as well. However, what we have found so far is that the Old WoW content, we have killed 2 bosses. We have killed Flame Leviathan, which hopefully everyone's killed by now. We also killed Razor Scale pre-nerf, I might add. They actually hotfix nerfed it. We killed Razor Scale on the first night when his enrage was really unforgiving, so I'm kind of happy about that. It took quite a bit of effort. It took about 2 hours worth of tries, but yes, we killed him in a very well executed attempt. Then we went on to XT002 Deconstructor, which is the funniest boss. It has the best samples. He's got this amazing childlike voice. It's so funny. And he's whole kind of modus operandi is that he treats the raid as toys, and he's like, new toys for me? It's wonderful. And then every time he breaks it, he gets very upset. He kills someone, it's like, I think I broke it! It's wonderful. We laughed so hard. We wiped the first time because we were too busy laughing. When we started the pull, we got the voice and everyone was just breaking up on Ven. And then we wiped. And it was like, oh god. Right, okay, try again. XT002 is... I would call that fight almost perfect. I think there's only one possible BS situation in that entire encounter. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you, because I want you guys to experience it for yourselves if you haven't already. But what I will say is this is going to be a serious block in the way of your average everyday face-rolling pug. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. He guards the doors to kind of the inside area of Ulduar. You know, here's the kind of map. You've got 4 bosses outside of Ulduar in a sort of courtyard area, and then you've got everything inside of Ulduar. That's where the real stuff goes down. And XT002 is guarding the door. You cannot get through until you kill XT002. And that is entirely reasonable. He's a hard fight. He requires very good DPS. He has a pretty strict but not entirely unfair enrage timer. He also has a hard mode which looks nigh on impossible. It's ridiculous. It's going to be fun to attempt it when we're ready, that's for sure. I'm going to enjoy that very much. He requires good raid positioning. He requires good raid response time. He requires solid AoE and ad control. He's good. He is a very well-designed encounter. He also requires exceptional healing, because he has a mechanic whereby he will pound the ground for 12 seconds and do 120% of your health damage to everyone in the raid, which means that everyone needs a heal. Everybody. It's like you got to pop your health stones, get your shields up, everything like that. And yet you still see people die. Now, people dying on this encounter, especially if you're geared in like Nax gear, you're going to be just on the level to DPS this guy down. And even then, only if you do it well. So if you lose people on the tantrums, then you're basically dead. You're dead in the water, he's going to enrage, he's going to one-shot you, just GG. The only BS element of this fight, in my opinion, is that when he does a tantrum, if one of your raid has one of the bombs on it, then you can end up losing people and not be able to really do much about it, because the tantrum also slows you, which I think is a little bit unfair. But regardless, if you know what you're doing and you're well-spaced, that shouldn't be a problem. Your melee group should all be basically stacked on top of each other, and if anyone gets a bomb, they should be running straight backwards. There should be a nice empty area for them to run into. So, you know, maybe your melee might take a little bit extra damage, but your healers should be able to account for that. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you anything more about the fight as regards to strategy, but what I will say is that it is a challenging encounter. It is well put together. It's like combining Void Reaver with Baron Geddon and a ton of ads in the process. It's brilliant. Now, the question is Ulduar too hard? Is Ulduar hard enough? If they were aiming for it to be face-rollable by pugs, at least without the hard modes, then they fail. Because it's not. Flame Leviathan is, but even then I think pugs are going to have a bit of difficulty grasping the different mechanics that go into Flame Leviathan. Razor Scale, on the other hand, is not puggable by a face roll. I mean, it is now because its enrage timer got nerfed, which is kind of a shame, I must say. That is a shame. But it's hard. Ignis is pretty tough, and XT002 will kill. It will just absolutely flatten a face-rolling pug. So that's something that I'm actually very happy about, because they did promise that this would be like the second-year course after Raiding 101. And let's face it, Nax was Raiding 101. It was too easy, way too easy, and this instance is not. Now, Insidia cleared it really fast, and people are saying, oh, well, Blizzard failed again to create hard content. Right, just get this in mind. This is different. This is different to last time. The concern, and Insidia posted about this. I'm going to make a prediction right here. I know some Insidia members are listening, as they always do. Don't let this influence what you do. But I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to make a prediction that Insidia are not going to post calling out Blizzard for making a easy instance this time around. This is what they did. They posted last time regarding the Nax content. It's like, we cleared all of the content in 3 days, and they posted why that concerned them. It wasn't because they cleared it, it's because they reckoned everyone else would also clear it. And people mocked them. There were some shows on this very station that mocked them for that opinion. This show was not one of them, I might add. But there were some shows that did that. And look, it turned out they were absolutely 110% spot on. Yes, the content was too easy. Yes, the average guild rolled through it in a week and a bit. And yes, even the awful guild rolled through it in a month. It was pugged on all fronts. And the only hard encounters were ones that could be killed in 6 minutes. It was appalling. They were absolutely on the money there. I don't think they're going to post that again. And there's several reasons for that. Hard modes are one of the reasons. But I do believe that you got everything you throw at Insidia now, except for maybe Algernon and maybe a couple of the hard modes, is going to be absolutely steamrolled. Now, the fact that they have to spend some time on Yogg-Saron demonstrates that it is at least a difficult fight. Bear in mind, they absolutely destroyed Illidan as well. Are you suggesting that Illidan pre-nerf was an easy fight? It wasn't. It was not even close to being an easy fight. Yes, they killed it in 24 hours. Because they're good, and that was Nihilum. That was Nihilum and SK. That wasn't Insidia. And Insidia's like bits of Nihilum and bits of SK. How can you expect that guild not to demolish anything in its path? It's pro, in a very literal respect. So clearing it that fast isn't a problem, because even the bigger guilds, even the really good guilds, are going to struggle. And if they don't struggle, they're certainly going to be struggling on hards. So, I'm not too worried about that. In my guild, I'm a pretty experienced raider. I've been raiding for a very long time. And I'm a bit rusty, don't get me wrong. But XT002 is a challenging fight. I found it challenging. It taxed me to some degree. And that's important, because stuff up to now has not really done that. Sarth 3 Drakes has. That's about it. Even Sarth 2 Drakes doesn't vex me. Not at all. Malagos doesn't vex me. It's not a big deal. I mean, for God's sake, what's hard about Malagos, really? But this fight, it vexes me. Razor Scale vexed me, to some degree. A lot of cool stuff going on in that fight. And I'm seeing this as a very nice trend. This is going to separate the men from the boys. This is not some inaccessible instance like Sunwell. It's not even an inaccessible instance like Black Temple, because Black Temple pre-nerf wasn't done by that many people. Not even close. And that's kind of sad, because it was a pretty good instance. Now, Ulduar is more accessible, but it's not easy. This is a logical progression. Consider this. Yeah? If you're going to take anything good, and if you're just one thing good out of the 5 months of fail that we've just had as regards to raiding, take this. It was a reboot to raiding. Yeah? It was a raiding reboot. It was like, let's just forget everything that's gone before and start again. Because we failed to get a lot of people into raiding. The numbers, to some degree, spoke for themselves. Now, this is partially Blizzard's fault, and it's also partially the players' fault. The players were whiny casuals that didn't know what they were doing. They just expected epics to drop from the sky. When it didn't happen, they complained. So, it's partially their fault, and it's also partially Blizzard's fault for not designing a proper way to get into raiding in TBC, because Karazhan wasn't. Karazhan wasn't the right size, for one thing. You don't have an introduction to raiding be smaller than what you're supposed to be doing in the rest of it. It's like, this is our introduction to raiding. Now, you've got to take 1.5 times extra number of people and go and do all of this stuff. No, that's not a good way to do things. But what has happened this time around is like, right, okay, here's the easy stuff. This is what you do in raiding. Now, we're going to start again, and we're going to start moving up, and we're going to make sure that our difficulty curve is more accessible. And it's more even. But that doesn't mean easy. Not anymore. Not with Ulduar. Ulduar is not easy. If anyone comes around and tells me that Ulduar is easy, I will tell them they're talking out of their arse. Yes, people are going to have varied success in Ulduar. No two ways about it. And yes, I know that our guild's rusty. I'm rusty. No two ways about it. But it's not easy. It will be challenging. You will be challenged in this instance. And that is a good thing. Even if you're not challenged by the main content, you'll be challenged by the hard modes. And Algernon is going to eat your face. I think that's pretty clear now. Blizzard have promised it, and I'm sure they will deliver. Because so far, Ulduar is just stellar. Everything about it that I've seen so far is wonderful. It's everything I hoped it would be. So yeah. More gushing about Old War after the break, when we'll be talking about the world first of Yogg-Saron. And what exactly world firsts really constitute anymore, if at all. My name is Total Biscuit and you listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. WCRadio.com. I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.